behind the reigning champions Manchester City, having played the same number of games. Here is what Erik ten Hag thought about it all.
We could see that you were getting quite frustrated in that first half before Marcus found his first goal of this afternoon. Just get into that a little bit more. What do you think the issues were exactly?
Oh, I don't have so much time here with you, but luckily we had a half time. We could repair some stuff. I think second half was brilliant. Came our sides. I think it was the way I want to see our team playing. It was a lot of pleasure, but it has to do with getting into the right positions. It has to do with playing simple football, playing between the lines, runs behind, and it was enjoyable to watch. And we create so many chances, and we scored great goals.
Yes, Marcus Rashford with 2 of those. I think we're running out of words to describe what he's doing. How do you describe it, the heights that he just keeps hitting?
Yeah, it's first about him. He's getting in the right position, but don't forget the team, because our team goals. And so I want to highlight Bruno. It's again 2 great assists, one on Rashford, one on Jadon Sancho, and so he has to receive the balls, otherwise he can't score. And Bruno is one, of course, also the one from Fred, beautiful as well. But there are so many players who can pass him the ball in the right moment when he is in a position, like Bruno, like Jadon, and like others, like Fred, like Christian Eriksen, who is luckily not available. Sabitzer can do it as well. So we have to play. We can play good football, but we have to follow the rules.
Finally, you can buy English football at a very low price. Enjoy Premier League and Champions League full replay matches, as well as analysis shows from Premier League TV, BBC, BT Sports, and Sky Sports. Uncut with full footage. Enjoy weekend reviews, previews, tactical analysis, and more. Join us today at the link in the description below, www.primeshows.net.
Darren, does that last answer just typify what Erik ten Hag has brought to Manchester United? It is all about the team ethic and collectiveness.
100%. I mean, he's not going to allow any player, even the form that Marcus Rashford's in, to take all the plaudits. It's not just about him, and you can quite clearly see, yeah, I'm sure behind closed doors, and not to everyone, he's probably praising him, giving him the talk that he needs, obviously giving him the tools to why he's in this type of form. But the moment it's about speaking about one individual, no, it's about the whole team. He mentioned Fred, Sancho, Bruno, a collective bunch of players, not just Marcus Rashford. So, listen, he's a fantastic manager. I like listening to him speak. I think he speaks a lot of sense. We can quite clearly see that he's creating a culture there at Manchester United where never no one player is going to be bigger than the rest of the squad.
How has he united such a fragmented dressing room in such a short space of time?
Well, he's obviously come with a pedigree. He was successful in his previous job. He can obviously manage, and you know, you've got to try to gather not only 25 odd players together, but a whole club. You know, training grounds are big places now, and you spend a lot of your life there, and trying to keep a great spirit amongst about 100 plus people is not easy. But he's done that. I bet his not his luck, but he could never have envisaged Marcus Rashford hitting the heights that he has been hitting. I mean, when you lose all the goals that, let's say, Ronaldo would normally give you, I bet he was scratching his head thinking, right, okay, I've got to do this for the benefit of the team, but who's going to step into the shoes? Who's going to score enough goals for us to be serious challengers? I don't think he thought they could be serious challengers, but one man has really, really risen to the occasion, and that's Marcus Rashford, and he scored so many important goals. And now all of a sudden, you know, he's probably the sole reason, or one of the big reasons anyway, why Manchester United have got a chance of winning silverware this season. He's added to that, of course. The signing of Casemiro was a masterstroke, absolute top-class player. They've got good players all over the place. But there is room for improvement as well. I look at that squad, I look at the team playing today, and it didn't blow me away, the names on the team sheet. I still think the likes of Arsenal and Manchester City have got better players at the moment, but I think this manager is getting, is going somewhere, and the whole feeling around the club, maybe a new takeover, the fans are purring again. It just feels like Manchester United are on the way back.
Yeah, and it feels like an old Manchester United week ahead. Barcelona at home in Europe at 2-2 and a Wembley Cup final. We could be sitting here in a week's time. They might have a place in the last 16 of the Europa League and a trophy in the cabinet.
Yeah, that is certainly Manchester United of old and something I've not seen from Manchester United for a while. But Erik ten Hag deserves a lot of credit for that, because Mo spoke there about the Ronaldo scenario. That could have gone either one of two ways, because a lot of people weren't sure whether it was the right decision, taking all that goals out of the team, big personality, but he knew what was good for that dressing room. And Marcus Rashford almost single-handedly went, well, if he's going to go, I'm going to be the man to step up. He's done that. But I'm sure, I agree with Michael, I'm not quite sure he would have believed he would have scored that many goals. We all know Marcus Rashford's a good player, but if you look at the past couple of seasons, he hasn't been at his best. But it's almost like a weight's been lifted off his shoulders, and he's going to repay the manager with the faith that he's shown in him, and he's scoring every single week. But not only that, he's playing really well.
Yeah, and I just go back to the Jose Mourinho analogy when he first came to England with Chelsea. Before he won all those trophies, he won the League Cup in February. And he said many times that gave the group a taste of winning and a mentality to win. So therefore, in his first season, this time next week, the cup final will have just finished at Wembley. If United can do that, can you see a similar taste for this group of players?
Absolutely. I think everyone can see it, everyone can feel it. Everybody now believes in Ten Hag. Even if you're not a Manchester United fan, you're probably looking at them thinking, uh-oh, they're on the way back. So it's happening. And whether it happens, at the weekend...
Do you think it will?
Probably, I think Newcastle have been a little bit unlucky. Obviously, the goalkeeper situation, one or two injuries. They're not in the form that they were earlier on in the season. It all points to a Manchester United win at the moment. And as you say, if that happened, then all of a sudden you can just feel this momentum starting to gather. And you can already feel it. It's a question of when. But if they can do it this weekend and get that first bit of silverware, then you can see it sort of, happening quicker than anybody had envisaged, really.
Because that could be a watershed moment. It's 6 years since they won anything, Manchester United.
Yeah, it could be the start of things to come. We know that Manchester City certainly have had a dominance on this trophy for the last few years, and look at the kick it gives them. I mean, they win it every single year, and all of a sudden, second half of the season, they're right at it. But if Manchester United could go on and win this in Ten Hag's first season, then I think it will be a bit of a worry for other teams, because you're right, they've got the whole takeover news come in. They're certainly a lot closer to the title than a lot of people thought. Everyone at the start would have said Manchester City, Liverpool. Well, it's been Arsenal that's been the team pushing Manchester City, but Man United are right there or thereabouts. And if they were to win that Carabao Cup, which I'll probably make them slight favourites, then you'd have to say certainly from now to the end of the season, they are right in that title race for sure.
The other side of the story then from Old Trafford in a moment, the Leicester captain James Maddison first, the manager, Brendan Rodgers.
Well, Brendan, having started so well, I imagine that's a tough one to take, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought first half we were excellent. We created the best opportunities and we looked a real threat. De Gea makes a great save, and obviously Kels has a chance at the back post. We probably needed to speed up the game in the final third a little bit more to get more opportunities, but we looked a real threat and played a good game. And then obviously we make the mistake for the first goal, and that was probably the best chance they had. And Marcus is in great form, so he's very, very clinical in that moment. But at half time we're well in the game. Just got to come out and get control of the ball again and start passing it, and we didn't quite do that. We give away a disappointing second goal, and then the third one quickly after, and that's seen the game go away from us really. So it was a disappointing second half. Lots to look at in the first half, and take into our next game.
And they move on to Arsenal, the league leaders. Are they the fine margins in the Premier League sometimes if they take the lead in the first half when they were dominant?
100%. Leicester were really good in that first half. And we showed 2 saves there from De Gea, but there was also many breaks where the final finish wasn't quite up to scratch, and they outnumbered Manchester United in certain periods as well. So in that first half, they could have easily been ahead going to half-time. They would have been scratching their heads thinking, how are we losing? They've hardly had a kick. They've hardly had a chance. I think that the shots were about 7-2 or something in Leicester's favour in that first half. So it was quite dominant in many ways. But then as soon as Manchester United, with that clinical player, that clinical finish, Marcus Rashford, all of a sudden they're ahead, and they didn't look like losing. The second half, they did tweak things. Erik ten Hag mentioned that he just needed to get in at half-time and change a few things. Sancho came on. They changed things about a little bit. Weghorst went back up front. Rashford back to the left, what we'd perceive as Manchester United normal. system, and all of a sudden they just looked very, very comfortable again.
And is it important, Leicester, remember that first half to take forward after their 2 wins going into this game today?
100%, because they played well in that first half. It's just about that last little bit where they could be a bit more clinical. Harvey Barnes having a good chance, Iheanacho making the goalkeeper work. But they played awfully well, not even creating the opportunities, but just keeping possession of the ball and opening up Manchester United. So they have to take that first half performance into their next game and have to be more clinical, because again, it doesn't get much easier coming up with Arsenal coming up. So you've got to take your opportunities once you get them.
Just back to United, the fact that they were in front at half-time with a clinical striker, not playing well, and in the lead, is that just exactly where they're at the moment?
Oh, when things are going well, it just flows, doesn't it? You know, when things aren't going well, you're missing chances, and somebody goes up the other end and has one kick on your goal and it goes in. It's like it just happens like that. Football's a cruel game sometimes, but when you've got someone like Rashford in really good form, confident as he's ever been, then you've always got a chance, and it showed again today.
Gentlemen, thank you for your company as always today. So Manchester United and Spurs, the winners on this Premier League Sunday, both in those Champions League places, both with a foundation.
Finally, you can buy English football at a very low price. Enjoy Premier League and Champions League full replay matches, as well as analysis shows from Premier League TV, BBC, BT Sports, and Sky Sports. Uncut with full footage. Enjoy weekend reviews, previews, tactical analysis, and more. Join us today at the link in the description below, www.primeshows.net.